you ever seen a franchise with enough movies to never hit the bad mark? Have you ever seen a franchise with 6 movies? Never hit the bad mark? You haven't.
What the hell is he doing?
I find it best not to look.
Mission Impossible Fallout. So Mission Impossible Fallout is the 6th installment in the Mission Impossible franchise. I've been anticipating this movie for 3 years, almost as long as I was really aware of Infinity War. See, this is my 3rd most anticipated movie of the year. I was just hyped first. I was like, Rogue Nation was awesome. This one's gotta be awesome. And then I was thinking it's gonna probably come out in 2019. Then it was announced it was coming out in 2018. And then I heard the name was Fallout. I was like, what? Are we doing another nuclear movie? Then the Super Bowl trailer was about to come out. And then I realized that Jeremy Renner wasn't in it. So I was like, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was gonna be better than the original trilogy of Mission Impossible. I just thought it wasn't gonna be better than Rogue Nation or Ghost Protocol. So yeah, and I also had, but then we had the Super Bowl TV spot, and I was like, okay, this looks pretty cool. Then we got the trailer, and I was like, this looks even more cool. Then we got the second trailer, this gotta be more cool. Then we got the Rotten Tomato scores, like, now it's 98% certified. It's certified! So my expectations were like, they were through the roof. So I was so worried this movie was not gonna live up. And I'll say this, for the first half of this movie, I wasn't digging it. I was invested, I was interested by the story, but I wasn't digging what was happening. I found myself somewhat bored. I know everyone's thinking about me, but I was somewhat bored at the beginning. Not the very beginning, it's like towards the end of the first act, I was getting a bit bored. Then something happens, and the movie just locks me in. I'm like, oh my... I'm gonna say one thing, the role that I thought that had to live up in this movie was Henry Cavill, because, the mustache completely, it ruined Justice League for me, pretty much. So I was like, he's gotta have a good role in this movie. Henry Cavill brings the best role I've ever seen from him. He's really menacing while he has to be. His mustache, it's totally awesome. He needed that mustache. I think Henry Cavill did great in this movie. I saw this movie right after I saw Teen Titans Go, so for some reason I heard Will Arnett when he was talking. Teen Titans Go is pathetic compared to this movie. And I haven't seen Tom Cruise deliver in a while. It says the last Mission Impossible, I haven't seen him really feel like committing. Like, I didn't see American Made. But with Jack Reacher, he just felt like he was phoning it in. Jack Reacher, terrible movie. Then The Mummy, even worse than Jack Reacher, felt like he was phoning it in there. Then, when he came in here, the guy is just so good. He brings all the charisma that's needed. It feels like he wants to be here making Mission Impossible. And I'm like, dude, you're killing it. Stupid people the stupid producers of Mission Impossible. When I'm in my top 10 best and most anticipated movies of the year, I had to make my own poster. I actually made the Mission Impossible 6 poster in that video, because they didn't have one yet. Then the Super Bowl happened, and they did release the poster. Not this poster, the another poster. But every single stunt in this movie, like he hangs off a helicopter in this movie. He jumps over building to building when he actually broke his leg. They have that scene in the movie, I saw him like running, and I was like, oh, it's coming, then it happens. And I was like, Tom Cruise, you're just so good. This might be the movie that just makes me sold on how the guy is he just does everything right. Also, one thing, the villain in this movie is by far the best in the franchise so far. The villain he's so good in this movie. The villain's just great in this movie. Does this movie go without flaws? Kinda. I remember I said in the last review, I was like, if Fallout brings me the backstory stuff, I'll be happy. Fallout didn't bring me the backstory stuff. It just brought me more development for Ethan Hunt. It just works. This movie is the darkest Mission Impossible movie. It takes a very dark turn throughout it. Really dug the dark turns in this movie because it really does keep you thinking. I was really thinking the whole time. And believe it or not, I thought A Quiet Place was going to be the most intense movie. No, I had not seen Mission Impossible Fallout. There are scenes in this movie where I like gripped my seat. I didn't grip my seat in A Quiet Place. I did get very tense in A Quiet Place. Very intense movie. But with this movie, I was just gripping my seat and being like, how are they going to push through the... There's a whole moment in this movie where it's just like twist, 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 and you're just like, this movie's awesome. This is going to be the first time where I wanted to see a movie twice on opening weekend. I love this movie that much. Those of you, I'm recording it right now, so I don't know, but it might be my shortest review for a movie that this anticipated for me was. That's because I don't want to spoil it. But let's talk about the action in this movie. It's the best. Every action scene is very well made, very well done. It's very just cool to watch. And I really like, so the bathroom scene in this movie. You're all wondering, is that good? It's actually really good. Is it as good as people praise it for? Not really, but it is still a really well done scene. That does feel very brutal. Now once again, I don't remember who wrote this movie or directed it, but I know his name starts with Christopher, so I'm just going to say, you did it again. Also, I'm just going to say, the score in this movie might be the best Mission Impossible score. A lot of people might say not. Actually, I might have like Rogue Nation or whatever. The score in this movie is completely awesome. It brings tension to scenes where there isn't tension. Originally I was thinking the score isn't, at the beginning I was like, the score isn't that good, but the score later becomes really good. And there is a scene towards the beginning of this movie where I'm like, this doesn't feel like Mission Impossible. I didn't feel like it was Mission Impossible. Later the movie does something and I'm like, this is Mission Impossible. And every single stunt he does in this, Tom Cruise, just every single stunt. When he hangs off the side of a helicopter, you're like, that was real. And then it changes your whole vision. The whole scene where he's running on buildings, it was like, this pretty much happened. So you're kind of impressed by that. And I remember always, if my mom were to be watching this movie, she would say, no, they just used green screen there. But no, this movie has so much practical effects in it. This movie had a lot of those uh-oh moments. And this might be the most beautifully and well-shot movie of the year. Every time there's a mountain scene, you just feel the altitude. You just feel that it actually is there. I really like the way the movie was shot. It was very well shot. Probably the best this franchise has been well shot, and this franchise is very well shot. There are a lot of times where the camera angle stays on one person for a good few seconds. I really find that jarring movies over in this movie. It worked. I don't know why, but it really worked. Also, we saw from the trailers, Lane from the last movie is in this movie, and the guy, it just makes sense what happens to him. The guy's like, he did so many bad things in the last movie. You see how much he's changed over the last years. As weird as I found this movie, this is a weird flaw. But they said that Rogue Nation happened 2 years ago. Didn't that happen 3 years ago? I don't know. The movie came out 3 years ago. I think that it takes place 3 years ago. I don't know. Because in the end, Mission Impossible Fallout had everything I wanted it to have. It had the best act. It had like amazing action, an amazing score, amazingly, beautifully well shot scenes, a very solid cast. I really need a spoiler talk for this movie, so I'll make one. But this movie had it all. This movie it had everything I want a Mission Impossible movie to have. Through the first act, I guess, I really wasn't like too invested, maybe the beginning of the second act. Then there's a scene in the second act where just everything changes, and I'm like, this is Mission Impossible. The movie pretty much has no problems. I really did not find a problem with this movie. This movie, Rogue Nation, it's pathetic. This movie is pathetic compared to the awesomeness that was Mission Impossible Fallout. I only get to say this once in my life, so I'm gonna do it right. Mission Impossible Fallout is... Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna set some ground rules. No, I'm not. Mission Impossible Fallout is the best action movie ever made because Mission Impossible Fallout is a 10. I only get to say that once in my life. That's awesome. Here are my ground rules for best action movie. It means I don't count sci-fi and superhero. I mean, I'm going to count The Dark Knight because it really is not really a superhero movie. But Avengers movies, Marvel movies, DC movies, those don't count. Other than Dark Knight. And then then any Star Wars, Star Trek, those don't count. But this movie does count. It is the best. Alright, what do you guys think on Mission Impossible Fallout? Let me know in the comment section below. I don't have a lot of reviews coming up. But next week, I'm reviewing Christopher Robin. It's a pretty high movie. Then the next week, I'm reviewing The Meg. I might be seeing Alpha in there. I'm not sure about Alpha yet. But I will be reviewing The Meg. So that'll be fun. And I'm doing Christopher Robin. So those will both be fun. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. I'll make a spoiler review for this video tomorrow. And I'll do a ranking all Mission Impossible tomorrow. So yeah, bye.